In this honest review, time's up for Ezekiel. If anything, time's down for Jerry. And the return nobody asked for. Let's review Season 9, Episode 11. Let's get into the first thing I want to talk about in this episode. Now the first shot in this episode is Ezekiel's watch. It was a good 10 seconds of his watch just ticking away. And at first I thought, maybe this is just a show, this is a flashback, because of course Jesus was there. Jerry was just announcing that he's going to have a baby. But if you look closely at the second hand, which is the thin black one, just before the shot ends, it goes to 12. And I don't know if you know this, but Ezekiel's comic death, which is due in the finale, there's a total of 12 people that die with him, so him included is 12 people with their heads on pikes. But of course, if the 12 has nothing to do with it, this whole thing about his watch being zoomed into and the way it was shot, I think it's clearly foreshadowing his death. Another thing I wanted to talk about is something really weird and quite odd. So Rick's season 8 speech, I'm pretty sure it was the season 8 premiere, he had this speech and they framed it because I'm guessing that's where it all started, right? The unity of all these communities. But of all speeches to frame and hold so sacred, they chose the cringiest one. I mean, I hate all the speeches, don't get me wrong, but of all ones, this one did not deserve to be framed. Like, that was a genuine low point of the show. But let's go back to the good bit. Long story short, Alpha makes a woman drop her baby as a decoy for walkers. At this point, Luke and Alden are shown to be hostages, by the way. In my finale death prediction video, I said they'd die, and I still think they will die. I thought it was going to happen when they were captured, but just because they're back now doesn't mean they won't go again. I really think they're going to die. Do you remember last episode where Connie really weirdly ran into the field, and it had no meaning? Luke managed to tell her that a baby was crying over there, literally by putting his middle finger up. Now, if sign language was that easy, we'd all be doing it. So Connie manages to save the baby, and it was quite a cool scene, but it's things like this that really annoy me, because this is why certain theories of mine never end up happening, because it's just my realistic take on it, and The Walking Dead keeps finding ways of making everything a Disney movie. And it's fine, save the baby, but it's so stupid to me that Connie had to run into that field. Like, for this baby to be saved, could Daryl not have run out and just done it? Maybe give Daryl's dog a good scene for once and do that. But yeah, everyone was saved, the hostages were given back, Lydia was given back, and I got to feel like I was deaf for once, because I've always wanted that. Next up is the movie theatre heist. This scene was very quiet, there was no humour, and it was a very quiet and peaceful scene. Now this was sort of a kind of innocent, sort of fun part of the episode. It was very much like the season 3, season 4 days. It was just really good. It was entertaining. It was basically the quest for a light bulb so they could organise this kind of theatre at this fair they're having. And these characters had their ups and downs, but they did it. They actually completed a task and they succeeded in this little fun idea that they had. Now, you know when I said this was a bit like a Disney movie? Yeah, the very end of this episode proved that it will not be. This is bad. This symbol means this is the Whisperer's territory, and the kingdom has literally just let about 100 walkers out of their theatre, took their supplies. Do you remember what the Whisperer that killed Jesus said to him before he died? You are where you do not belong. And with this symbol, Ezekiel is most certainly where he doesn't belong. The fact that Ezekiel was in the Whisperer's territory and the foreshadowing at the beginning of the episode, I think this confirms Ezekiel's death. And I think anyone who joined this trip apart from Carol is likely to die. There was this innocent comment that Jerry made, but it just got me thinking. Jerry mentioned his baby at the beginning of the episode in the flashback. It seemed to really focus on Jerry just breaking the news. And then he mentioned him again in the Whisperer's territory, and he said this.
My kids had seen a movie.
Now this is the one thing in this video that I'm just not sure about. I could just be overthinking it, but knowing The Walking Dead, this could be a really small foreshadowing that either Jerry or his kid or wife dies. But I'm definitely not as sure as I am that Ezekiel will die as I am Jerry, because with Ezekiel it's this time in the comics that he would die. And with all the contract stuff, I'm definitely a lot less sure than I am about Ezekiel. And then there's this whole montage of everyone being happy, because you know that won't last. And very soon, you will witness, most probably, the most disturbing death on The Walking Dead.